Welcome to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast. I'm Dale Jewett, your host. And in this episode, our guest is Chris Feuell, who is the brand CEO for Chrysler. Chris, it's great to have you on with us today.
Thank you, Dale. It's really great to be here.
I feel honored. We've talked to a bunch of people in the company so far on the series of podcasts, but I'm pretty sure you're the first brand CEO that we managed to get some time with, and I think that's pretty cool because Stellantis has this really wonderful group of 14 brands around the world, and each one of them is really unique and exciting and pretty cool. And I think Chrysler is a long history of being at the leading edge of cool and fun stuff. Not that necessarily everybody would think that a minivan might be cool, but hey, you were there first, and there are, I think, plenty of cool things about minivans today. It's a secret, I've actually got one on order, so we can talk a little bit. But Chris, why don't you start? Just tell us a little bit about your time at the company and what's it like to be the head of Chrysler, the brand?
Well, I feel like I've got the best job in the company because it's not often that you have the honor of breathing new life into such an iconic brand like Chrysler. Because so many people today still think about Chrysler as the company rather than just a product brand. And the brand will be celebrating Chrysler's 100-year anniversary next year.
Wow, that's a long time.
And it'll be in concert and in alignment with the first brand new product that will be launching under the Chrysler brand in nearly 20 years. So I'm really excited about that. But like I said, I feel like I've got the best job in the company because Chrysler's been, underinvested for roughly 15 years now. And we have one nameplate in the market, the Pacifica. And when Stellantis was formed, Carlos Tavares made a commitment to reinvest in Chrysler and invest in new product, invest in a dedicated brand team, and deliver the resources required to restore Chrysler to the growth that it saw in years past. And that's how myself and the Chrysler brand team started working on the future brand positioning strategy and defining what Chrysler needs to stand for in the future as we start launching a brand new portfolio of products between 2025 and in 2030. And when you take a look at all of the incredible brands that we have in our dealership showroom, you've got Dodge that is centered around muscle car performance. You've got Jeep that is all about off-road adventure. And you've got Ram that is all about pickups and commercial vehicles. And so we needed to carve out a unique space for Chrysler that was different from any other brand in the showroom. And that's sort of how we arrived on Harmony in Motion. There is no other brand in the portfolio that is centered around this idea of customer-centric mobility in terms of how they interact with the product. Harmony with the advanced technologies that make their life and mobility experience easier and not more complicated. Extending harmony to the sales and the service process, and harmony for the planet through cleaner technologies, sustainable materials, cleaner manufacturing processes, and all of those wrapped together really build the foundation for what Harmony in Motion means for the brand and for our customers.
That's a really nice big picture of the future. And speaking of the future, Chrysler's been kind of busy in the future department these days. You a month or so ago from our conversation, the brand unveiled a brand new concept vehicle, and it's quite the looker. It's named Halcyon. and it's I'm happy to say it's got 4 wheels and a couple doors, but it's really futuristic. There's a lot of glass. There's a lot of cool lighting about it. Um, can we start? And I want to talk about Halcyon because there's so much in this one concept to talk about. But maybe do you have like the big picture overview of what Halcyon means for Chrysler?
Right. So as we were building out the transformation journey for Chrysler, you have to start with your vision for what you want the brand to stand for, and we anchored that in harmony and motion. And obviously we created a product and technology roadmap that reflects all of the new products and technologies that we want to bring to market over the next 5 to 10 years. But then we needed a concept that connected all of those dots to be able to, in person and physically illustrate and demonstrate what harmony and motion means with an actual product. And so Halcyon was born from the idea of translating harmony and motion through a really stunning and aspirational design. And so, like you said, when you look at it, it is contemporary and aerodynamic, and beautiful from the standpoint of being very sleek and aspirational looking and highly differentiated from any other vehicle that you see on the road right now. And it's a car. Mm-hmm. And I think there are so many battery electric vehicles out there right now that have gone in the crossover direction, and we'll be offering crossovers, don't get me wrong, but you have so much more design freedom with a car because you're not constrained by some of the package elements that need to be achieved with a crossover or a sport utility vehicle. So we were really excited with how the design came together, both on the exterior and the interior. The interior is made from over 95% sustainable materials that are recycled, upcycled, or sourced responsibly. And one of the elements that I really love is the fact that where we've got the new Chrysler wing badge incorporated throughout the interior, it's made from recycled and crushed CDs. So giving a little bit of a nod to the Motor City and the music industry of Detroit. And the other thing that we did, because the Pacifica is known for our unique stow and go seating, and we wanted to reimagine what stow and go could look like in a sedan interior. And when you take a look at the video of the Halcyon reveal, the rear seat cushions actually fold back into the cargo area, so you have a completely open rear seat package for luggage, groceries, big pets, and things of that nature. That gives you a lot of flexibility and versatility.
That's pretty innovative.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, you probably have a few of my old CDs crushed in your badge, and it makes me think. You might. So what I want the tech guys to figure out is sometime in the future, if you're going to do that on your badge, let me scan a QR code, bury a QR code in that badge, so it plays whatever crushed CDs I contributed to your badge.
That's a great idea.
Well, because in looking at the Halcyon, and I have to say, because I'm fortunate enough to see the concept live in a concert, it's great that we have all these recycled, eco-friendly materials inside the vehicle, because when you look at it, you wouldn't guess that at all. None of this stuff looks like it's been shredded or anything.
It has a very jewel-like and pearlized appearance to it, and it really is very simply crushed CDs. So it was pretty cool that our color and materials team had come up with that idea. But to your earlier point about the Halcyon, it does look very high tech because it is. The Halcyon is built on the Stella Large platform and includes all of the advanced Stellantis technologies, including brain, smart cockpit, and auto drive level 4. And, with the exception of level 4 autonomous driving capability, brain and smart cockpit are ready for industrialization today. So we wanted to create a concept that included things that we knew we could produce now, but also, be thought starters for advanced technologies and experiences that customers might not have thought of before. And so, level 4 autonomous driving, our wireless charging technology, as well as when you think about incorporating cameras rather than mirrors to improve aerodynamics and visibility on a 360 perspective when you're driving the vehicle, just makes the passenger and driver feel safer, and also improves the driving experience and improves aerodynamics as well.
That is cool. So one of the things I noticed in looking at the concept and read, so those technology platforms, the Stella Brain, the Stella Smart Cockpit, and the Stella Auto Drive, to me, one of the most cool things was how they really enable the car to be personalized to you. And it's more than today, today when you personalize the car, okay, well, maybe I'll put my own little wheels on there, or in some of our vehicles, you can adjust, you can pick from the colors on the interior, the lighting, at night.
Yeah, the ambient lighting, right.
Yeah, but this car knows you. I mean, it knows you when you walk up to it.
Right. And so we at Chrysler are putting a significant emphasis and resources around the user experience. And as I mentioned before, we want to incorporate advanced technology, but we want it to be advanced technology for real life, meaning it's not a science project. It's not something that is complicated or scary to use, but something that is seamless and intuitive and simple. And so the way we are developing the UX for the smart cockpit and the personalization capabilities is based on real world customer feedback that we get around the kind of experience that customers want. They want their vehicle to be seamlessly integrated with their personal digital life. So their mobile device, some of their smart home technologies, and over time, the artificial intelligence that's built into that technology learns preferences, is able to suggest navigation routes based on the driver's or passenger's calendar, drive patterns that they've used before, suggest where they might run into traffic snarls and suggest alternative routes, or even suggest reserving a charging station if it appears that they might need one en route. It also has biometric scanning capabilities to keep the vehicle safe and secure only to the driver and the owner of that vehicle, and also can personalize seating settings, audio and multimedia settings, music and podcasts that the passengers and drivers typically like to use.
Well, and with summer coming, it'd probably be dangerous because mine would always route me past the frozen ice cream stand about once a day.
Yeah, because so it can take in, well, geez, it's 82 degrees outside and sunny. It's been a long, warm day, and Dale's had a really tough day at work. I think
That's
he
right.
needs an ice cream reward.
There you go. See, I love artificial intelligence and all this great stuff. Chris, I'm hoping I'm sure you've had a chance to sit into the concept, because I think one of the most striking features, and you mentioned seamless integration of the vehicle and the occupants, but the amount of glass that's in this car, that I got to say that it pretty much wipes out most of the boundaries between the people in the car and the surrounding environment.
Right. And that is one design element I know I've heard Ralph Gilles comment that he's super proud of, because of the fact that you've got a battery electric vehicle that isn't packaging an engine in the front end compartment, you have a lot more freedom with how you design the front end and how far you can carry the windscreen down and really move that cockpit further forward and improve overall visibility forward, rearward, and as I mentioned, on a 360 basis as well.
Yeah. So it's really cool if anyone who, I'm sure the car will be out in public at times. Anyone who gets close to that, I would encourage them to take a look at that. So these are all really kind of cool, very tech things. Do the folks at Chrysler, do you guys sit around a table and kind of toss around, what would I really like to have in my vehicle? Or maybe I should come back and even say, okay, Chris, I know you've spent some time with Halcyon. What's the one feature of Halcyon you'd really love to have in your next production car?
Oh, it's tough for me to pick one thing. I love the overall exterior design of the vehicle. I think it's head turning, it is stunning, and it's truly representative of the future design theme that you will see carried through every future Chrysler model that we launch between 2025 and 2030. So we'll have finally a family resemblance and a consistency around the Chrysler design theme. From a technology perspective, I really love the seamless operation of Smart Cockpit and how I can personalize it for me. And there are personalization capabilities for every passenger in the vehicle as well. So front seat passenger, and if you have rear seat entertainment in the vehicle, both rear seat passengers can personalize their screens as well. And the way it just seamlessly integrates and links with the settings in my mobile device, so that if I have a meeting coming up, the car alerts me that I need to make my way to where I need to be in order to get there in time. Or I'm looking forward to the future of level 4 autonomy, so that I can multitask or just take a break from hands-on driving the vehicle. But at the same time, one of the things that I really love about the Halcyon is the fact that it not only looks great, but the battery electric propulsion system that it has really delivers fun to drive performance. And so, we really want people to be inspired by what the future of a battery electric car could look like, and reimagine what a fun driving experience in a battery electric vehicle could be.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, because the electric propulsion does deliver a lot on fun to drive. I think most people don't realize that until they've had the opportunity to either drive an EV or be a passenger in a friend's EV. And I've had people around me, even in my family, who are they're not big EV fans until they get into one and get a ride, and then they realize, wow, you have all this torque right at the get-go. It's the first couple times it's a little bit more of a thrill ride, right? You're having a lot of fun, and so I think that holds a lot of promise for people.
It's a thrill ride, but it also makes people feel safer when you think about it. When you're accelerating onto a freeway or changing lanes, knowing that you've got that little bit of extra boost to move you ahead and into position is reassuring.
So I got to ask, there's a lot about Halcyon, and we've only really just touched the surface. You guys threw a lot at that. Anything you decided didn't belong in Halcyon that you're like, we can't get one more thing in there, but that you think would be really cool?
Oh, that's a tough question. I can't really think of anything that we'd want to add, but one of the things that we're just kind of brainstorming, because we really want Chrysler to be a very customer-centric brand in terms of the products that we bring to market, the features and the services that we offer. And one of the pain points or barriers to consideration that we know customers have around battery electric vehicles is range and charging. And so we said, well, what if we could deliver a vehicle that has unlimited range? And that's where we came up with the dynamic wireless power transfer technology that allows for on-demand charging if you've got a piece of road or highway that has the wireless charging capability, as well as charging mats in parking structures or in garages. That really gives people freedom from the cord, so to speak.
Yeah.
And allows them to literally have unlimited range.
That would be really cool, especially the mats, I think, in the garages and in parking spaces. I think that would be so natural to people, because today they just park and walk away from their vehicle, and to say, hey, you can still just park and walk away from the vehicle, and the mat and the vehicle will do all their magic all on their own. And when you return, you'll have a lot more range in your battery pack, which is a neat thing. So Chris, if you don't mind, can we talk about minivans for just a minute?
Yes.
Good. So in all of the discussion of EVs and everything, it's apparent, plain right at the moment, that plug-in hybrid technology has a lot of advantages and a lot of interest amongst consumers. In fact, Stellantis these days, amongst our brands, we have the top 3 selling plug-in hybrid vehicles in the United States, of which the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid is amongst the top 3.
Yeah.
So from a technology standpoint, but I don't think most people realize that vehicle's actually been on the market since 2017.
It has.
So
and I think that we carved out a unique space for the Pacifica plug-in hybrid, and have been really differentiating it from the competition as the only minivan in the segment with the plug-in hybrid technology, 32 miles of pure electric range, 500 miles of blended range, and the only minivan that qualifies for the full $7,500 IRA tax credit. And so when you put all of those elements together, it's a really attractive option for customers to consider, because it's a no compromises solution for those customers who are thinking about dipping their toe into the electrification pond.
I agree, and we've been talking about innovation, and I think this is probably one of the really leading innovations that we've had in our company lately. And so I'm here because, like I'd mentioned a little earlier, I've actually ordered one as a vehicle for the home fleet, because I really feel like I kind of reached the point where I want to live with plug-in hybrid technology. There's the safety net of, hey, when the battery reaches its minimum state of charge, you still have an internal combustion engine that contributes, and you get a whole lot more range. But it also, you can just plug it in at home and you can start the day. I mean, with 35 miles of range on pure electric range, in most days that covers all of my driving. So it would be very to not use the ICE engine for days on end. But it's just that, I know minivans don't get a lot of love from a lot of people, but I'm kind of a car geek, and if you look at it, there's just been this long history of innovation within minivans and what Chrysler has done with minivans. The cup holders. I mean, the juice box cup holders. It's silly little stuff like that, but entertainment system, dual sliding doors, stow and go seating, which is an amazing feature. So I'm here to tell anybody, and I'm assuming that there are plenty of them still rolling off the assembly line, hopefully mine soon, that people should get out and get the opportunity to experience this technology. Talk about a seamless driving experience, because it's really a CVT. It's an EVT, an electrified variable transmission. So you don't really feel gear shifts as you're driving along. It's just pure power the whole time that you put your foot into the throttle. So I'm happy. I'm here bragging for you.
Well, that's great. I mean, we have been the leader in the segment for the last 2 years, and it's a segment that we created 40 years ago, and we are fully committed to continuing to invest in and continue to lead and further disrupt the segment.
Well, cool. Well, I hope you keep up with that, and I'm sure there's plenty more in store. So I have one final question for you, Chris. Knowing that you're a busy person today, is there one technology or one feature you'd really love to have in your vehicle today that someone listening to this podcast might be inspired to say, I can deliver that for you?
In my Pacifica? That's a really good question. Well, so one of the things that we've been working on getting into the plug-in hybrid program is the ability to have all-wheel drive, because today it's not available in all-wheel drive because it can't package with where the battery system is packaged in the vehicle. So that's one. Being able to get all-wheel drive on the plug-in hybrid is a must-have for the near future, and continuing to innovate on breakthrough features for our customers. So reimagining what stow and go for the future could look like, and how do we continue to make the driving experience for customers and families not only easier, but significantly better than anyone else in the industry.
That is some really cool stuff, which I look forward to, and I hope you can make that happen. And I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today. Now, my 2 cents of advice is you probably ought to get an agent, because I can't believe that Hollywood won't call you up soon to put the Halcyon in some sort of a near future science fiction movie. I think it's that cool of a looking car. But thank you very much for your time. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Dale. It's been a lot of fun for me too.
All right. And thank you for listening to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast, where we speak with some of the brightest minds in the tech and automotive industries. We invite you to follow Stellantis Tech and AI on LinkedIn and Instagram to join the conversation, stay updated on what's ahead, and be a part of the community exploring the fast lane of technology and AI in the automotive world. We'll see you again soon.